If you're looking to make solar simple, give Ron Domenico with AD Energy a call. All-day energy made simple. Solar solutions with zero down, options to lease or finance, and roofs and trees are no issue. Call Ron Domenico at 609-226-2802 and tell him you saw him on the Sports Box.
Well, hello again, and welcome to the show that just makes you want to go take a big bar X-Lax. This is the Sports Box. The only opinion that matters. It's right here. Hi, I'm Michael, a.k.a. Hampton Mike, along with my partner, Brian, the Ranger of Tart. Brian, how are you today?
I'm having a nice little Memorial Day weekend. I definitely want to, on behalf of the Sports Box, want to thank everybody. We know why we're having this weekend as a holiday. We want to definitely, recognize everyone who gave their life so that we can, have the freedoms that we have here in this country. So absolutely, our hearts go out to everybody.
Absolutely. Please stay away from the X-Lax. It's really make for a bad weekend. Anyway, today we are going to give you our Stanley Cup final. Finally, here we are, just breaking the barrier. Finally getting to the finish line here.
It's a match everybody called for, huh?
Yeah. I'm sure you had this in your pool, and if you did, hey, come work for the Sports Box. We want you.
Seriously.
In the West, we have the Nashville Predators, and in the East, we have those pesky Pittsburgh Penguins. First of all, I want to say, getting back to the Pittsburgh Penguins, I think Ottawa got a little bit jobbed in Game 7. I had talked about this before with you. When we had talked about it, the league's worst nightmare was to see Nashville and Ottawa in the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
You agree with that? I think I'd have been a total train wreck.
From marketing, from a perspective, from a TV ratings perspective, from a very and that's not really what I'm sure Gary Bettman was looking for.
Yeah. You may have 7 people watching that, 2 of them were us.
Right. So. But I guess just to kind of cap off that third round, I'm on record. I had Pittsburgh in 3.
I had Ottawa in 7, which I think that and it lost. The Anderson went down in Game 5. He had a bad game, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. You want to see you had Pittsburgh in sweep? Yeah, well, that came for a win.
It's funny because I really think that the one thing that Ottawa had in their favor was the 1-3-1, was the trap, and if they were able to get ahead, they would have been able to kind of suffocate the Penguins, and they had their opportunity to do that.
Game 5, they just blew up. I mean, Game 5 was just a train wreck. But anyway, we move on. We talk about the Predators and the Penguins, and here come the Predators when nobody thought they'd be here. I talked about Ottawa going as far as they did, but still, here are the Nashville Predators on the back of Pekka Rinne. We talked about it. I talked about it. I think if the Predators somehow can pull this off, win the Cup, Pekka Rinne is my hands-out choice for the Conn Smythe. Also, you can also make a big take for Filip Forsberg as well. He's played phenomenal. How much is Washington still kicking themselves in the ass for this deal?
Martin Erat.
Martin Erat. Still playing, but not in the NHL. You look at the Nashville team. A lot of guys, contributing. You got James Neal, Mike Fisher has been hurt a couple games, but has contributed when he's been there. Johansson unfortunately out for the season. I mean, this team's had to overcome a lot of adversity to get here. But PK Subban playing well. We talked about Forsberg having the year he has, and even Yossi. The way he's been playing. I mean, this Nashville team, don't take them lightly anymore. I mean, they're here for a reason. You know what?
They have the best top 4 defensemen in the league. I don't think it's really that close. I think it's been a massive strength for them coming through the Western playoffs because they're a team that can defend very, very well. And they do their best to make Rinne's job a little bit easier than it needs to be. And again, that's enviable. They say you're supposed to build from the net out. That back end, we said it going back to the start of the season, the Weber for Subban trade, we figured it was going to be a big win for Nashville.
Yeah.
We didn't see this coming quite so much.
No.
But I think offensively, this is going to be a series where they're going to have their hands full.
This is going to be the test.
The top 3 scorers in the playoffs are Evgeni, Malkin, Sidney, Crosby, and Phil Kessel. They all play for Pittsburgh. So you look at how these teams kind of got here. Pittsburgh's leading the league in goals per game, a little over 3 in the playoffs. Nashville's stingy, a little less than 2, given up. So it's definitely the immovable force, the irresistible force versus the immovable object.
Yeah.
The Penguins' offense against that Predators' defense, but it's really going to be interesting to see how. To me, I think an X factor no one's really talking about is Peter Laviolette, the coach of the Predators. Boy, does he know these Penguins, having coached the Flyers, having been in the then Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference. He's a guy who knows what's coming on that Penguins side. I'm going to be curious to see how with the coaching back and forth. the chess match behind the game within the game, if you will. If anybody's going to find a way to kind of stifle that Pittsburgh offense, if Ottawa couldn't, Nashville does a real nice job at that. I think the problem for Nashville is going to be where are the goals going to come from. I think the Johansson loss looms huge in this series because against a team that's as strong down the middle as Pittsburgh is with Crosby and Malkin, two of the top 5 players in the world, to lose your number 1 center at this juncture, that's tough. I don't know.
This really.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I think for me. From the Nashville.
I think Ryan Ellis has got to step up a little bit more now because of that Johansson loss. You got Victor Arvidsson, who's got it. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this team who've contributed, but like you said, Brian, they're going to have to step up and really take charge. Especially, I think Mike Fisher is going to try to give it a go for Game 1, but who knows? He's been out for 3 games now. Who knows how much you're going to get out of him anymore? But he is the heart and soul of his team. He's kind of the driver, kind of like Carlson was with Ottawa, and PK Subban playing well. But I keep going back to it. You can't get around Pekka Rinne. I mean, this guy single-handedly taking his team in certain games when they've needed to get on his back and run there. I mean, 1.70 goals against average, 941 save percentage, and 2 shutouts in the playoffs so far. I mean, this guy is playing phenomenal. The best he's played all year, without a doubt. And, it's going to be a good matchup with him and Matt Murray. I mean, Matt Murray, here's a guy who stepped in.
Assuming he plays.
Assuming he plays, I think he will. But I'm going to assume that he plays in that sense. So Matt Murray, here's a guy who stepped in 3 games, took over for Fleury, who played phenomenal, and got them to where they are, Pittsburgh. I think they're both solid goaltenders. It's going to be a good matchup. But like you said, the firepower of Pittsburgh, you got Malkin, Kessel, Crosby, the name escaped me right now. But this team, Pittsburgh.
Kessel?
Yes, thank you. They've all been playing well, and they're hitting people. I will stick to my facts and say that Pittsburgh is still the dirtiest team in the NHL because of what Malkin and Crosby get away with sometimes, but that's besides the point. They're here, and let's play the game. I think, like you said, Nashville's going to have their hands full with Pittsburgh.
I think a big thing in this series is going to be, what the Nashville PK can do, all pun intended, with the Penguins power play. The Penguins power play is at a 1-in-4 clip right now. 25% of the power play. That's strong. That's really strong at this juncture in the playoffs. I mean, it's very easy. Calgary went through the first round, the first 4 games. They were 37% of the power play. They also lost in 4 straight games.
Yep.
So it wasn't as if there was like a big sample size here. It was just the 4 games. Pittsburgh's been doing this the whole time. And if you look at the road that Pittsburgh's taken to get here, again, they took out a very, very good Columbus team in short order.
Yep.
And again, we know that the Caps kryptonite, but they got through them again. Ottawa took them to the limit. I don't know. Maybe the Pittsburgh was looking past Ottawa a little bit. Probably what happened to the Rangers, frankly. But they got through. They won it when they needed to. For me, I really want to see what that Nashville PK is going to be able to do. Because, again, right now, they're 88%. I mean, they're better than Pittsburgh's been in the playoffs, but you got to stay out of the box, especially if you believe, like many do, that there's an inclination on that ice to call more penalties against the Penguins' opponents than against the Penguins. So you got to be aware of that.
Nashville's really going to have to stay out of the box because Pittsburgh penalty play will kill you, especially with all this firepower. And like you said, Malkin, Crosby, Kessel, all 7 goals, and Kessel. Nobody's really talking about him as much. I mean, here's a rookie that comes in the league with 9 goals in the playoffs. And Brian Rust, got the concussion against Ottawa, but came back, still playing well. It's going to be a very interesting series. Very, very interesting series. So, you think Matt Murray's not going to play?
No, I think he probably will. But I think you've seen both goaltenders, so I don't think you can necessarily say it's a fait accompli that it's going to be Murray in net. I think that Sullivan has shown the ability to kind of go back and forth. Yeah. Really, it goes against my big thing with goalies. If you have 2 goalies, you have no goalies. The Dallas Stars do that better than anybody. But it's worked for them.
I don't think you flip goalies at this point, though.
I can't argue with the results.
You got to stay with Murray now. I mean, I think if Fleury knows he's not buried. He's done his part. He's gotten to the point where they are, and I think Murray picks it up from here. If Murray falters, it's nice to go back to Fleury. But I think at this point you got to stay with Murray.
Well, in the finals, I mean, if you go back to the Canucks in 2011, they went back and forth. It was Luongo.
I just think you can't do that. You got to get a guy in a rhythm, and you got to keep him going. I think even though with the long layoff they've had now with the NHL, since they've gotten done the last game until now, I think you got to stay with Murray. So here we go. Predictions. I think I know where you're leaning, but go ahead. Let's hear it.
I've picked against the Nashville Predators 3 consecutive rounds.
And I think it's going to happen again.
And I've been wrong 3 consecutive rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to the well one more time. and I'm going to pick against them again because
you can't help yourself.
I will say this: they're not a team that strikes me as they're happy to be here, because I think that it's. Don't get me wrong; they were the 16th seed. I mean, this is an accomplishment and a half to get to where they've gotten to. But I don't think that they're necessarily happy to be here. I look at a team that won the Stanley Cup last year. I know it's very difficult to win it 2 years, and it hasn't happened since the Red Wings. But they're here, and they're here. I mean, they're healthy where it counts. I think Nashville's better than I know I've given them credit for coming to this point. Maybe it's because I don't want Pittsburgh to win that I want to be wrong on Nashville again. I don't really know, but I can't find myself picking against a team that hasn't lost yet in the playoffs. And actually, the last time they lost a playoff series was to the New York Rangers in 2015. I'll enjoy that. And that's for me to enjoy.
So you're going Penguins in?
I'm going to take the Penguins. Nashville's been so good at home, though. That's going to be the tough part to me, because I think that if it gets to a Game 6 in Nashville, I think that Nashville finds a way to extend it to 7. I'm going to go with the Penguins in 7 games. I think in a Game 7 at home for the Stanley Cup, I think it's very hard to lose that game. I think it's very hard for Nashville to win that game. I'm not happy about it. I'm not enthused to make this pick here. I'm really not enjoying this at all. I will take the Penguins to repeat as Stanley Cup champions in 7 games.
And what a surprise on the opposite side of the rainbow here. I am going to take the
I hope you're right.
Yeah,
I hope you're right.
I have been right in a couple rounds. But anyway, I should have run the Ottawa pick. But anyway, I'm going to go with those Predators. I think Pekka Rinne is playing the best he's played in a while. I think PK Subban, gives them a little bit of jump. I mean, look, this team is for all accounts, you look at the beginning of the year, you would have told me Nashville and Pittsburgh. I would have said you're crazy. I would have said Pittsburgh fine, but there's no way I would have picked the Predators coming here. But you know what? They're rolling. The year that the Lightning went, they had all kinds of momentum. They got to the finals. They ended up winning it. I think the same thing can happen to the Predators here. I'm taking the Predators in 6 games, I think. I think if they're going to do it, they got to do it in 6. If they go to 7, I think Pittsburgh's going to take them out. I'm taking the Predators in 6. And like I said, I'm taking either Pekka Rinne or Filip Forsberg to win the Conference. I think it's going to be Rinne, because I think he's played far beyond they think that he should have played.
For me, if Pittsburgh does win the Cup, I think Malkin deserves it, but I think Crosby will get it.
You don't think Kessel's in the conversation there?
Not necessarily. I think he's still third fiddle on that team.
Yeah. I think Malkin.
I didn't think Crosby deserved it last year personally, but he got it. Whatever. For me, I think Malkin deserves it, but I think somehow it'll end up in Sid's hands again.
Okay. We will see. Go Preds. So we will see. Well, hopefully I'm not wrong, but I probably will be.
I so hope you're right.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah, really. We're both big Pittsburgh fans.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. And just remember, for crying out loud, you can always get us on social media if you need to.
At this point, I mean, we're just preaching to the choir. For those of you who watch the Sports Box, thank you enough. However, if you haven't yet joined the party, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's very easy to do. You will see the Sports Box logo at the end over here, right by my big head. You can subscribe right through there. But of course, we're on YouTube, of course, and Facebook and Twitter, both at Sports Box Show. Find us there, and make sure that you check out our sponsor as well.
Absolutely.
This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velarde. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
And there you go.
Again, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. We always have good stuff coming. We are going to come up with that new sports soon. You're going to absolutely love it. I think you're going to get a big kick out of it. So just keep an eye out for us. And remember, at Sports Box, the only opinion that matters.
You were looking for something to throw, weren't you?
I was.
It's not there, is it?
It's not. Well, it's still small. It's right here. Thanks for watching, folks. See you.
1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.